It's Nikki Bedi on BBC Radio London, and the time is 11:36. Tony Blackburn is on the way at midday, and we've got football this afternoon. So since 9 o'clock this morning, I have been asking you to send in either a wordy description of a snapshot of your Sunday or an actual snapshot. And the reason why is because I have this beautiful hardback book sitting before me. It's called Sunday, A Portrait of 21st Century England. And photojournalist Matt Writtle has put this together. And it was a labour of love, wasn't it, Matt? Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, no, it was. Very much so.
So tell us a little bit, first of all, about your life. Am I right to call you a photojournalist? No.
No. I guess. I don't know. It's very difficult to label you. I guess I would consider myself a portrait and documentary photographer.
Yeah, so you see, when you say documentary photographer, I sort of think photojournalist, but yes. So a photographer and a documenter
portrait, documentary photographer. Photojournalist feels like I've got to wear my flak jacket and I'm going to be in a war zone somewhere.
And you haven't been?
No.
Okay. Well, then we'll leave that one. So what made you think about Sundays in this way? Tell us a little bit about the backstory.
No, of course. In 1999, I went off to Australia and freelanced in Sydney for newspapers there, and then I got offered a job in Hong Kong and I worked there. So I came back to England having lived away for 4 years and felt very, detached from being English, actually. And as a photographer, that's a great thing because I could look at England objectively. And so I started looking at, I'll go back. We were in a post-9/11 devolved society. So I was interested to know how England would sort of associate itself with its own identity, because I've always felt that England is more sort of engaged with being British, whereas Scotland and Wales automatically have their own identities. And then on top of that, I was interested to know what the state of religion was in the nation post 9/11. So I started looking at figures, and to my amazement, less than 2% of the English population go to Anglican church service on a Sunday, on a weekly basis.
And yet, interestingly, in the book, there is a beautiful picture, and it is here in London, isn't it, of a pastor?
Yes.
And when I say pasta, I don't mean a bowl of pasta, I mean a pastor. Just in case you are mishearing me. Now, I can't remember what page it's on. But so a lot of people still go to church on a Sunday, but not when you look at the numbers. Yeah. My sister lives in Ireland. She'll be at church every Sunday. In fact, she'll be at Latin Mass. My aunt is a Jehovah's Witness. She will definitely be at her meeting. The rest of my family are complete atheists because we come from a science background. We can't possibly, have a faith like that. Then on the other side of my family, I've got Buddhists, I've got Muslims, I've got Hindus, but very few of them actually practice, and there wouldn't necessarily be a day. But where did you start your journey in terms of taking photographs of Sundays?
Hackney Marshes.
Right.
So Sunday traditionally has been, you play Sunday football, you go to Sunday church. So I started looking. What was your Sunday then, before you left to go to Australia and Hong Kong?
God,
that's a good question. What did I used to do? It's a long time ago now. I guess like most people, really. I was still living in Shropshire then. So I was either working, shooting, or I would be nursing a hangover.
Right. And having some delicious lunch.
And go out with friends and family and have Sunday roast with my mum and dad and my brothers and things like that. So, very much a traditional, Sunday.
And what is your Sunday now?
My Sunday now? Well, I'm very happy to say I've got a 17-month-old boy.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. And my wife and I moved out from North London to Chesham recently. So we can walk out of our back garden into the Chiltern Hills and we just go walking through the woods. And
how beautiful.
No, it is. It's really beautiful.
Well, talking of all things pastoral, I'm on the chapter here, which is the cricketers.
Yes.
Randwick Cricket Club, Stroud, Gloucestershire. Now, there's lots of lovely pictures of cricketers and the pitch, etc. But the picture of the sandwiches is the one that really got me. Because there's just a pile, isn't there, of ham sandwiches, white ham sandwiches. I love that.
I nearly didn't put that in.
I'm so glad you did.
I'm so glad I did. And I'm so glad you raised that. Yeah, I don't know. It just stuck out to me as something that was so indicative of that day.
And then This family of farmers
Yes.
who we've got in here seem to be Asian, part Asian.
Yes, they're a Muslim family. They were academics, and they got tired of the rat race, and they decided they were going to jack it all in and go off and start their own organic halal chicken farm. And I did it came out of a piece that I did when I used to work for the Times.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a story basically called Muslims in the UK, and Times ran it sort of 4 days. And then about 5 years later, I just got in touch with them and I said, you know what, I'd really like to follow you on your Sunday. Can I come and do it? And they were like, yeah, come along. And then we did it.
They are busy on a Sunday, by the way.
They're busy on a Sunday.
My goodness. There's more bacon sandwiches here, or ham sandwich. No, that can't be for them. They're Muslims. What am I talking about? That does look like it's meat, though. And then there's a mother in the kitchen, and they're making parathas. Am I right? In this one here, look. See that?
Oh, yes. So what they did, they went from their farm and then they went to visit their relatives.
Right.
And then there's the matriarchal mum sitting there and she's making parathas and passing them out to all the cousins and nephews and nieces and grandkids.
So in terms of the photographs in this book, tell me about something that really surprised you about what people were doing on a Sunday.
That's a good question. What really surprised me?
Did nothing surprise you?
I think what surprises me is driving to a lot of the subjects that I covered is the amount of people going shopping.
Yeah.
And the amount of people going to retail parks.
Right.
You know, that's one of the things that's really stood out to me through this journey. I mean, it was a 10-year period, but even in that time it's evolved, it's changed. And it's almost like painting the Forth Road Bridge, this project, because you could carry on doing it forever. Mm. But I had to draw a line on it and decide, and I thought a 10-year window was quite a good slot. So, yeah, I guess just the book itself is more to sort of highlight the changing of Sundays and how, with religious attendance decline and the fact that internet's on the increase, consumerism's on the increase, it doesn't seem that much of a leap to assume that one is impacting on the other.
Are you religious as a family?
No,
so you wouldn't be going to church?
No, I wouldn't go to church.
So we know that you live in a lovely area and you can go out for long walks. We know before you'd probably just had what you described as an average Sunday for somebody, which is either you would be working or you'd be nursing a hangover and then going and maybe having Sunday lunch. We've got a group of ramblers in your book who are blind.
Yes.
Tell me about them.
They were fantastic people. I mean, I wanted to, through my research, I realised that one of the most popular pastimes is rambling. So I researched all of that, and I thought, well, I don't just want to in fact, I did photograph a rambling group down in Dorking, but it didn't quite have anything unusual about it or anything sort of that stood out to me. Mm. So I started researching unusual rambling clubs, and I came across this fantastic group called the Visually Impaired People's Rambling Group, VIPs, which I thought was a great title.
Yeah.
And I decided, you know what, I'm going to photograph them. They allowed me to walk with them, so I did an 8-mile walk with them that day. And it just changed their lives. People don't realise that blind people, they struggle to get out of the house because they can't see. And so some of the feedback that the people I was talking to and everything, this has just changed my life. Every Sunday we look forward to this now because we know we can come out into the countryside. And the quote in there is that Anne said her eyes had been opened.
It's a lovely quote.
Which is a lovely line. I couldn't believe it when she said that. That's gold. So
I've got the pastor. I was looking for the pastor. Wayne Brown, New Testament Church of God, Willesden Green, London, who says, I think the sacredness of Sunday has been lost. Consumerism is the new religion. We are so extreme about wanting things. A flat screen television has become a yardstick by which we measure what we've achieved. We worship at the Church of Blue Water or Lakeside. That's our Sunday church. Yeah. And there are lovely photos of him. One of him shaving, which is actually a very strong portrait, isn't it?
It is.
And tell me about, so one chapter is called, and these are visual chapters, by the way, The Family. Barbara Harriet and her family of 11 children in Deptford. Tell me more.
Again, that came out of a contact that was London Evening Standard. I worked very closely with David Cohen on the campaigns for the paper. Mm-hmm. And that was the first campaign we did, which was The Dispossessed.
Yeah.
And he found her through his contacts, and we documented her for the campaign, and she benefited. And then again, same as the Muslim family, I contacted her about 6 years later, and I just said, look, this is what I'm doing. I mean, the really interesting thing about her was that the impression I got from following her was that the quote that she gave me when I interviewed her was that, as in the book, is that all she can remember of her Sundays as a child was running and being a child. And it struck me, and it might be just me interpreting this, but it struck me that she felt that being a child was something that she still yearned for.
Yeah.
And she surrounded herself with 11 children. And what became really apparent and surprised me when I was documenting that and then editing it through, the story's not about her, it's about her daughter. And her daughter, the middle daughter, who was about 11 at the time. And she's the mother to all the kids that were below her.
Which is what happens when you have a big family, isn't it? But yes, the quote is, as soon as I got a little freedom, I just went out and ran. I was running through the grass and lying in the grass. That's all I remember, just running and being a child. The Students is an interesting chapter. There's quite a lot of drugs going on here, taking of nefarious substances. One girl with a tongue stud seems to be balancing a little pill on the end of her tongue. There's much rolling of papers and nefarious substances, no doubt. Somebody looking like he's blowing smoke rings. There's all sorts of paraphernalia on this table that I'm looking at here too. Yeah. Oh my goodness, there really is. There's Class A action here. So when you went to film them and spend the Sunday with them, did they have any qualms whatsoever that their lives and doing things that are illegal, I hasten to say this is illegal, boys and girls, were going to be revealed? And
I did say I sat them all down.
Yeah.
I arrived, it was Gay Pride weekend, I remember that.
Yes, because you've got the little rainbow flag there.
And I went down and I said to them, look, before we do this, because I started that at midnight, stroke of midnight, Saturday night, so it was Sunday morning when I started it. And I said, look, this is going to be in a book, it's going to get press coverage, it's, they're like, yeah, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. And I said,
but they might have been off their faces when they
No, they weren't. I can assure you they weren't.
Okay.
No, and they said, look, I said, are you absolutely sure? And when I took that picture of the one you described,
yes.
I said, you sure you want to do this? And she said, yeah, absolutely, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. Well, also, she might not have taken that.
No, exactly. Who knows if she did?
Yes, we don't know.
That little paracetamol on the end of her tongue.
Yes. And then, and actually you've been very clever not to show the faces of certain people. And then you've got the exhausted lying down to get over it, haven't you?
I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah, I can. Well, it is a beautiful book, and I want you to tell us how people can get hold of it. Well,
it's been officially launched at the Photographers Gallery on Thursday.
So do you know who you are in company with at the Photographers Gallery at the moment?
Wim Wenders?
Yes! Wim Wenders has an exhibition of all his Polaroids.
Fantastic,
there. Yeah. And yeah, I'm going to go along and see that on Tuesday.
You should come on Thursday.
I can't come on Thursday, unfortunately, because I'm going to be filming, but I would love to have been there. I have, however, had a sneak peek at the book already, so I'm one of the lucky ones.
You are. And just one other thing is the following Thursday, we've got an exhibition of all the work at the A-Side, B-Side Gallery in Hackney.
Brilliant.
Mare Street.
So people can go along to that.
They can come along to that. And on the Saturday, we're having an in-conversation with Hugo Rifkin from The Times, and on the Sunday with Ben Smith, who's a photographer.
Fantastic. And so where can people purchase, though? That's the most important thing.
The purchase can take place either at the Photographers Gallery, or if they go to my website, mattwrittle.com/Sunday, you can buy the book directly from me. And
Matt Writtle is spelt WRITTLE. And how do we find you on Twitter?
At Matt Writtle.
Thank you so very much. And may you go from strength to strength. Also, I don't know whether you've been listening throughout the show. We've had lovely descriptions of what a snapshot of our listeners' lives would be. And I've said that mine would be me in my running gear, sweat all around the top of my head, around my ears and underneath my ponytail, because I've really run my 8 miles along the River Thames. But by the time you find me for my snapshot, I've got a massive glass of rosé over ice and a huge amount of very, very healthy Sunday lunch. So I'm off to do that shortly.
We'll photograph it, shall we?
May you go from strength to strength, and thank you so much for coming in, Matt Writtle. These are the Monkeys.